Good morning. It's Saturday morning.
Boma morning.
It is Boma morning. And I did not get the vlog started on Friday like we normally do because I have had a terrible cold. The good thing about it is it was a fast cold. I'm gonna thank the supplements that I take for that. I don't know if they really helped or not. And before someone asked me, it's echinacea, elderberry, black elderberry, and I take some extra vitamin C. I know everybody has their own little, advice for colds, and I don't know if it works or not. I just know that I never got horribly sick except for like 24 hours. That's the worst of it was about a 24-hour period. But I have been sort of coughing, and until today, my voice didn't really sound normal. I'm not sure it's totally back to normal, but it's pretty close. But feeling good today. I think it's gone. And so it was kind of a good week to not have the vlog since we did Myrtle Beach last weekend. We didn't have a vlog this week, so it worked out good. This morning we are doing Boma. We're doing Boma eggs. And for those of you who might watch us who don't go to Disney and don't know what Boma is a restaurant at Animal Kingdom Lodge that has amazing food, amazing food. It's our favorite buffet on property. I want to say it might be our favorite restaurant on property. It's really good. And for the value, for the price, like we like some of the signature restaurants, but Boma is not signature. For the price, I think it's absolutely the best restaurant. So this morning we're making their famous goat cheese and spinach eggs. We've sort of gotten that pretty close to tasting like theirs after practicing. And then Brian is gonna make the Boma pasta salad, which is another item, that one's not on their breakfast, that's off their dinner buffet. So we are having Boma cooking morning today. And then I think both of us are having a cooking extravaganza today. I know I'm making ramen in the Instant Pot, and what are you gonna make?
Frittata,
refried beans.
Refried beans, yeah.
Yeah.
Not refried.
They're not refried beans, so they're not refried, but they taste like refried beans, I guess. So it's gonna be a cook-a-thon, and then I am also gonna go meet my parents for lunch sometime today, and I'm not sure what else. The day will unfold as it goes. There's the spinach for the Boma eggs. I'm gonna saute it. That was one tip. It definitely tastes better if you saute the spinach separately and then put it into the eggs. And then what I do is I cook the eggs till they're almost done, but not quite done, add the goat cheese, and then add the spinach. And the key is not overcooking them. I'm really bad to overcook scrambled eggs. Here's the finished product, the Boma goat cheese and spinach eggs, and then Brian sauteed some mushrooms, yum. Brian always makes the Boma pasta salad, and he puts tons of veggies. So this is all the veggies he chopped for it. And then we use this avocado-based mayonnaise, and we also use gluten-free pasta. So this is a heavily modified Boma pasta salad, but it still pretty much tastes the same with the curry flavor. It's really, really good. And there it is, the beautiful Boma pasta salad. It's so good. And by the way, guys, I have made this with zoodles, which is zucchini noodles. I have a spiralizer, and it tasted just as good. So that's another thing. If you don't want the pasta, you can do it that way too. I'm gonna make a berry crumble. I want to give credit to the inspiration for this, but I don't actually follow this recipe anymore. This is just sort of Carmen made up at this point, but it's inspired by balancedbites.com. If you just search on that and search on blueberry crumble, this will come up, except I have modified this heavily. Costco sells these gigantic bags of organic mixed berries, so I don't just use blueberries. I use these mixed berries of strawberries, raspberries, and blueberries. And because they're frozen, I use them straight from frozen. I don't thaw them. I add some arrowroot flour. I just sprinkle really lightly over the fruit, and I use this giant lasagna pan because this is much bigger. The amount of fruit is bigger. As you guys know, I like to batch cook, so I like to make the bigger portion and then freeze. And this does reheat. It does lose some of the crunch for the crumble when you reheat it, but it still tastes delicious, so I still like making it for batch cooking. The first step is to just put the berries frozen in the casserole dish or whatever you want to use. Like I said, I use this giant lasagna pan. And then I'm not using this to measure, I just do this by eye. I just sprinkle a tiny amount of arrowroot flour. And the reason I do this, that's not in the normal recipe, is because these are frozen, they're gonna release a lot of water. And so if you don't do this step, it ends up runny and not as good, just texturally speaking. So by just sprinkling like super light, and I actually stir this up after I add the lemon juice so it's evenly distributed. but just put it really lightly. This will create sort of a thickening of the liquid that comes out of the berries. And that's it. That's all I put in. So like I said, I wasn't measuring that. I was just using that to scoop it. This is the super easy crumble part. This is about 1.5 cups of almond flour. I just guesstimate. I just sort of eyeball it. And then for the nuts, I wanted to show what they look like. So this is what I meant by roughly chopped. So they're not powder, but they still have some texture. That's what gives you the crumble. This is probably 1 cup or 1.5 cups, somewhere in there, of the macadamia nuts, the melted butter, and then I'll need 2 hands to squeeze the lemon, and that's it. And you stir it up, and then you crumble it on top, and I'll show what that looks like after I do it. Forgot to mention, I did put a 1/2 stick of, so not a whole stick of butter, but a 1/2 stick. So you want the crumble to be moist enough to stick to itself a little bit, but not so moist that it's like a dough, so that you can literally crumble it. So here's what it looks like before it goes in the oven, and in 35 minutes we will magically pull it out of the oven and it will be done. Here it is, all golden brown on top. That's basically what you want, because I know oven times vary. I did 375 for 35 minutes. This will make a ton of servings. I think I usually get like 8 servings because you know, I don't put that much in each serving, so it's gonna last a while, which is really nice. Now I'm going to make, in the Instant Pot, some ramen. I looked for a recipe and I really couldn't find one. There's tons out there, don't get me wrong, but the Instant Pot ones are not gluten-free. The gluten-free ones are not Instant Pot, and so I'm actually kind of making this up as I go along, so I hope it turns out. I've put the Instant Pot on saute mode, and so I'm going to add the garlic, ginger, let that cook a little with the sesame oil, and then add the mushrooms.
Perfect.
Now comes the guessing game. This is the part where I'm just gonna have to guess how much time to put it on for. Since the chicken's already cooked, I'm only gonna do 10 minutes because I just want enough for the flavors to infuse together, the mushrooms to cook, and I think that'll be plenty of time. 10 minutes are up, so I'm gonna manually release the steam. This is part of that learning curve of making it up as you go along. When I opened it up and I put the noodles in, I realized I did not have enough broth, and so I had to add, see, I added 4 more cups of chicken broth. I think it's about right now because the noodles are down in there, and I'm gonna bring it to a boil, cook the noodles a couple of minutes, and also add the carrots and the bean sprouts right at the very end and let them cook a little as well. Even though I am not gonna eat some now, I did taste the broth and it's very, very good. So to finish this off, when I do serve it, I'm gonna portion this out and freeze it, but when I do serve it, I'm gonna serve it with fresh green onions and sesame seeds and a soft-boiled egg.
It's my turn with the Instant Pot. I'm going to make not so refried beans, which is actually just going to be a pinto bean smashed up in kind of like a dip form. There was 2 recipes I used here, one that came with the book, and then I took some other hints from another recipe I found online. It's basically onions, going to saute onions, garlic is mixed in there already, and then I'm going to add in the spices to the saute, which is chili powder, cumin, and chipotle. And then once that is all soft, I'm going to throw in the beans. These were pre-soaked along with some water. Let's take a look at the end of the process. And now the timer, this is the cool down timer, has now ticked up to 10 minutes because it goes up. So the next one will go to 11, 12, etc. If you happen to know if there's a way to set an actual timer for the cool down, let us know in the comments. Let's open this up. I always like to film this, it's kind of fun. We're going to release all the pressure. Wait for the little doodad in the back there to drop. Okay, the little red thinger in the back dropped. Let's open her up. I like those noises.
Sounds like a video game.
Ooh, I don't think I had enough liquid. Let's see. No, actually it looks pretty good. I'm gonna do a lot of mashing. So I want to mash this down to kind of like a dip consistency. Smells good though.
Brian finished mashing it up and it looks so good and it smells amazing. Lots and lots of Disney news has come out over the last week, or trailers or whatever. First of all, Flower and Garden menus came out and Brian wants to do a separate video to talk about that, and he does not want to sit next to me since I'm still recovering from a cold. So
Now you make me look bad.
he said, in case you couldn't hear him, he said, now you're making me look bad. So we will probably record that next weekend. Now, by the time this video comes out though, that will be the weekend in the past. So by the time you see this, the video may be out. Depends on when we release it. We've still got, I guess, a couple of weeks or so before the festival starts. So hopefully we'll have it out before the festival. We're super excited. And yes, we will be going this year and we'll do a trip announcement at a later date. But the one thing I noticed is there's a ton of new stuff this year. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't wanna go into it since we're gonna do another video, but I'm excited to see so much different stuff this year. It's like they really are shaking it up. And then in other news, 2 trailers came out. Well, prior to this week, the Dumbo trailer came out. I did not watch that because there's no way I'm gonna go see the live action Dumbo. The old animated movie, I can't even watch that. Too sad for me. I do not like to be made to feel sad when I watch a movie. That's not fun to me. And Disney is probably one of the worst. It's funny that I'm a Disney fan, but they're one of the worst for having like tear-jerking movies. I watched one of those live animal, like real animals, they're nature ones, on a plane one time, and ended up crying from that because they showed this poor cat, like I'm talking about a big cat out in the wild, and she was slowly dying, and the group she was with was excluding her because she was dying. It was just so sad. I was like, this is not fun. So yeah, I will not be watching Dumbo. I don't even want to see the trailer. I just can't. It's just too sad to me. But I did watch the Aladdin trailer and also the Frozen 2 trailer. The Aladdin trailer looked okay until the genie came out, and I actually like Will Smith. I know a lot of people have mixed opinions about Will Smith. I like him. I think he's funny. But him as the genie, I don't know if I'm gonna like that or not. I'm just going by the trailer. I didn't really have any preconceived notion until I saw the trailer. I found the trailer a little cringy when he came out. Like, I don't know, it just didn't look right, sound right. Yeah, Brian just said The Rock would have been a better choice, and I have to agree with him. I don't know, we'll see. Maybe when the movie comes out, he'll be great. We'll just have to see. And then Frozen, okay, so for Frozen 1, I liked the movie, but I wasn't bonkers about the movie the way some people were. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fine. And I like the characters, I like the movie. But it just, I don't know, it didn't blow me away or anything. It's definitely not my favorite of the modern Disney animated movies. However, the Frozen 2 looks pretty good. I'll definitely see it. Again, not mind-blowing or anything, but I thought it looked good, looked entertaining. So I'll probably see both of those movies. I'll probably also wait till they come out on DVD though. I'm not in a hurry. And in other movie news, I finally saw Bohemian Rhapsody. I know some of you saw it and recommended it. I found it a little sad. I didn't cry or anything, not that kind of sad, but I did find it a little sad. His life's kind of sad. But the music's fantastic. There were funny moments. I thought it was a really good movie, and Rami Malek just nailed the role. I mean, he brought Freddie Mercury, you know, he had his mannerisms down, everything. I thought he did an outstanding job, and I'm a big fan of his from Mr. Robot. If you haven't seen that series, really good series. And also, a little trivia here, he was also in the second Breaking Dawn movie from Twilight. He had a small role in that. But anyway, I really enjoyed that movie, so thanks to you guys who recommended it. I definitely enjoyed it. But that was yet another one I ended up, I did want to see that in the theater because of the music, just never got time while it was out, and so I ended up seeing that on DVD too. But we have great sound here, so it was fine. I'm so happy my friend Leisha brought me this magnet back from Disney. She had seen me post that we weren't going to make it during the period they're giving these out, so she picked up one for me, which I am so grateful for. He's going to be added to the side of the refrigerator where my collection of these are. For Brian's birthday, because he was in Bratislava during his birthday, his parents had us over to celebrate this week, and Brian brought this game over. Getting the lid over here, and so if you're not familiar with these kind of games, it's like an escape room type game, only virtually. You're not in a room, of course, and you have to solve riddles and puzzles and stuff to get out, and you're supposed to do it in a certain amount of time, but we didn't even use the timer, and it was ridiculously hard. I mean, there were 4 of us. We're all smart people, and it was not. Yeah, Brian said apparently not. It was so hard. Like, I was actually just getting bored. It was so hard. I hate to say that, but it's like, you know, when something's just so hard you have no idea what to do, it's not fun anymore. But we ended up not finishing because it took so long, but Brian and I are going to attempt to finish it. So wish us luck, because it's really difficult. Previously, we had unlocked this room. And so the room's relevant slightly, but not so much for solving the riddle. It's more like once you solve the riddle, you have to look in the room. In the meantime, this was the only clue that we were given right here. And Brian was smart. He figured out that we had to put the units, silver and salt, up here. And then the more important, no, actually, I think I figured that out, or we both did. That was easy. The part that was not as easy to me was these crossed out numbers. He figured out that with the corresponding color, we had to cross out the numbers of those letters in order. That's pretty good, I think. So that made the word universal. And so then we're thinking H2O, solvent, like we're throwing all these things out. And then Brian thought, well, let's put the letters that match in these blanks. So we're working with this word unveil or whatever that made no sense, and we're trying to make sense of that. Finally, we had to go to a clue card, and it said pay attention to the red squares. So we were totally missing it the whole time. All we knew was the I, the R, and the S.
Lines up to these symbols.
Which lines up to those symbols.
Which then you use a decoder.
Which then you put in this decoder to get your answer.
Next clue.
And so I just want to show how hard this is. Maybe that doesn't seem hard to you, but we're really struggling with this. Like, it's frustrating. I think we've only solved 1 so far without a clue.
2, I think.
Oh, 2? But that's sad. That's sad. All right, we finished it. We think it may have taken us 4 hours total. The 2 hours with his parents and then 2 more hours today. But Brian enjoyed it. This is not something that really excited me. But I mean, I didn't hate it either. It's just really, really challenging. Here's what the ramen looks like once I put the soft-boiled egg from the Instant Pot, which turned out perfect, and the scallions on it. Hey, it's Sunday, and I think today is going to be a complete chill day. I need it. I'm still a little recovering from the cold. I mean, most of the symptoms have cleared up, but I still don't feel 100%. And that's why you just need a day. Just a day to do nothing. I am going to make my work salads. That's pretty much it for today. Hey guys, it is Thursday, and I wanted to talk about a couple of things. First, we have started watching Netflix The Umbrella Academy. Highly recommend it. Highly. I love it. We've only seen 2 episodes so far. I know we could binge it, but we like watching like 1 a day at the most and sort of watching it episodally that way. I don't even know how to describe it exactly. It is based off a comic book, but not like a mainstream comic book. And it's, well, I guess a little like X-Men, but not really. That's not a good description. Just in that it's people with abilities. Anyway, I don't want to say more than that. I don't want to give stuff away, spoilers or anything, but also the music is fantastic. If you like sort of rock that's more on the alternative side, I'm not talking about super obscure, I just mean a little on the alternative side, you will love this. They've had Queen, they've had a remake of an INXS song, they've had They Might Be Giants, the music's sort of all over, it's all different types of music. They even had Tiffany, which, you know, that's definitely mainstream, but it's just been a really great mix of music. I like the way it's filmed. Both Brian and I agree it reminds us of Wes Anderson movies, that style, if you know what we're talking about. It's just great. I love it so far. So far, so good. And I've heard from other people that have binged it that it just gets better, so I'm excited to continue it. So I thought I'd recommend that. Also today, exciting news came out. They released a sort of rendering of what the entrance to Epcot is going to look like when they reimagine it. And more importantly, they announced that they're going to turn the old Wonders of Life Pavilion into what they're calling a play pavilion. I don't know if that's going to be the official name or if that's just a placeholder name. But I'll let you guys go out and read for yourselves. I'm not going to read or rehash everything that are in the articles and the announcement from Disney, but it is an official announcement and it sounds exciting to me. The play, or whatever they're going to call it, pavilion, actually to me sounds like more like classic Epcot. I mean, like the things that we would expect Epcot to be. And so I'm happy to see they're going to have things like that. With the Guardians of the Galaxy coming in, I was kind of wondering if they're going to distance themselves from that. But this to me sounds like it's more in the vein of old or classic Epcot. But we'll see. Time will tell. Who knows until we see it, right? And it's not going to be ready till the 50th anniversary, so we've got a ways to go. But it's still exciting, and it makes sense, I guess, why they were sort of fixing the roof and updating it a little bit on the outside. So very excited about that. I thought that was really exciting news. That's going to wrap up this week's weekly vlog. As always, we appreciate subscribes, likes, shares, and comments. Until our next adventure.